In the silence of a Sunday morning, as church bells echoed through the empty streets, a woman named Sarah sat alone at the back pew, her heart heavy, her mind restless, searching for something she could not name. She had grown up here, in the choir, in the rhythm of hymns and sermons, but over the years, something inside her began to fade, the words no longer felt alive, the prayers no longer answered her questions. Then one night, scrolling through her phone, she stumbled upon a simple verse. It said, "Indeed, in the remembrance of Allah, hearts find rest." She didn't know why, but those words stopped her. Something within her stirred, a peace she hadn't felt in years touched her chest. A week later, she found herself outside a masjid, hesitant, nervous, her heart pounding. She almost turned back, but a kind voice greeted her, "Assalamu alaikum, sister," and that was the beginning, the first time she truly felt seen, not for what she believed, but for who she was, inside. She saw people standing shoulder to shoulder, no hierarchy, no judgment, just unity, hearts beating in sync as they bowed together, whispering words she couldn't yet understand, but somehow, she felt them, deep, pure, divine. She began to learn, day by day, quietly reading, watching, asking, discovering that Islam wasn't foreign, it was familiar, it was what her soul had been yearning for, it was submission, not to fear, but to peace, to the Creator of all. And when she finally whispered the Shahada, tears streamed down her face, her heart finally found its home. The masjid that once felt strange became her refuge, her sanctuary, her family, and Sarah was not alone, for across the West, in cities filled with lights, in towns where faith had faded into formality, hearts were awakening, people from all walks of life, doctors, students, mothers, soldiers, all finding the same call, the same truth, the same peace. From church to masjid, from confusion to clarity, they all shared the same journey, a return to the one who never left them. In London, in New York, in Paris, in small towns and great cities, stories like Sarah's echo quietly beneath the noise, each one a whisper of faith, a soft revolution of the soul. Michael, once a youth pastor, began reading the Quran out of curiosity, expecting contradiction, but finding connection. He said, "Every verse felt like it was written just for me," and one day, in his small apartment, he fell to his knees, and cried, not out of fear, but out of freedom. Aisha, once Emily, found Islam after losing everything she loved, her faith broken, her heart shattered, but through the mercy of Allah, she found beauty in surrender, and in that surrender, she rebuilt her life, stronger, purer, more alive than ever before. These stories are not about conversion, but about coming home. They are about hearts rediscovering their purpose, about people learning that faith is not a place, it is a presence. Not a label, but a light. And as Islam rises quietly in the West, it does not come with noise or pride, it comes with humility, with compassion, with a message of peace that speaks beyond culture, beyond color, beyond borders. For in every masjid that opens its doors, in every Quran that rests upon a shelf, in every heart that whispers, La ilaha illallah, a silent light grows, reminding the world that faith is not dying, it is transforming. And that perhaps, the West is not losing belief, but rediscovering it. So the next time you hear of someone who found Islam, do not see a conversion, see a calling answered, a heart restored, a journey completed. For the truth of Islam does not conquer, it comforts, it heals, it brings the lost back home. And maybe, just maybe, the future is not about East or West, but about one humanity, under one Creator, walking toward one eternal light, in the quiet corners of a city that never sleeps, where neon lights drown the stars and faith feels like a forgotten word. A man named Daniel walked with questions heavy in his chest. He had seen religions rise and fall in his eyes, seen churches turn to cafes, temples to theaters. And he wondered if belief was fading from the world. But one night, while driving home, the radio played a voice, calm, peaceful, reciting verses he didn't understand, yet something deep inside him trembled, as if the words spoke straight into his soul. He searched, he listened, he read, and soon, he began to see, not just with his eyes, but with his heart. The Quran didn't demand blind obedience, it invited reflection, reason, mercy, love. It spoke of a God who was closer than the jugular vein, who forgives endlessly, who guides patiently, who loves purely. And Daniel, who once thought faith was gone, found himself kneeling, whispering, "Guide me, if you are there." And that night, He felt a peace he had never known before. As days turned into weeks, he visited the masjid, unsure, hesitant, and yet every person who smiled at him, every salam that reached his ears, melted away a lifetime of loneliness. He realized Islam wasn't foreign, it was familiar. It was everything his heart had been waiting for, and when he stood in prayer for the first time, facing the Qibla, surrounded by strangers who now felt like brothers, he understood what unity truly meant. No status, no titles, just souls before their Creator. In that moment, Daniel was not alone, for all across America, across Europe, across the West, people just like him were finding the same light, a light that was never gone, only hidden beneath the noise of the world. They found Islam not through force, but through truth, not through fear, but through love, through the simple realization that peace is not in possessions or power, but in submission, in surrender, in faith. They discovered that Islam was not a new religion, but the oldest call of the soul, the original message that began with Adam, continued with Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, and was completed with Muhammad. And as that realization spread quietly across the West, hearts softened, minds opened, and the world began to see Muslims not as strangers, but as seekers of peace, as mirrors of mercy, as witnesses of divine love. Every story, Sarah's, Michael's, Aisha's, Daniel's, became threads in a larger tapestry, a living reminder that faith cannot be confined to borders, it belongs to hearts. And maybe this is what the rise of Islam in the West truly means, not the growth of a number, but the rebirth of a spirit, a silent revival of purpose, for in every tear shed during sujud, in every Quran recited under the glow of a desk lamp, in every person who whispers, Allahu Akbar, after years of doubt, there lies a revolution, not of politics, but of peace. And as more hearts awaken, as more souls find the courage to say, I am home, the world begins to change, not through arguments, but through example, not through force, but through faith. So when you hear of another story, of someone leaving the church for the masjid, of someone discovering Islam at 50, of someone reciting the Shahada in a small apartment alone, know this, that the story is not about leaving, it's about returning, it's about the light that never left, only waited to be seen again, and that light, once found, never fades, it only grows, quietly, beautifully, eternally.